It's time for the trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
I'm Pete Buttigieg, and you might recognize me from Fox News.
The woman who courageously outed Kamala Harris as Indian.
We are the party of real freedom.
Project 1825. I'm sorry.
You ever seen a document that could kill a small animal and democracy at the same time?
Project 1925. Oh, I'm sorry.
You can pry this wedding band from my cold, dead, gay hands.
They're trying to suppress our vote.
Boo.
Is I'm still younger than Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? Bro, we broke up with you for a reason.
It's the honor of my life to accept your nomination for Vice President.
We love a dad in plaid.
Other states were banning books from their schools. We were banishing hunger from ours.
John!
Kamala Harris!
I'm letting you in.
The convention is to officially nominate the party's presidential ticket, and they do that through a state roll call. Here's what that looked like at the Republican convention a few weeks ago.
Pursuant to the announcement of the delegation and the rules and procedures of this convention, Oklahoma, 43 votes, President Trump.
Okay. I get it. A lady who runs an orphanage counts the votes, and that's that. But last night, the Democrats changed things up a bit.
Georgia, how do you cast your vote?
Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to officially nominate Kamala Harris for president. Bob, get loud, another round of shots. DHC, turn out for what?
Wow! Woo-hoo! I didn't know politics was so lit. I'm going to start voting. I just know that when Little John wrote this song, he was thinking to himself, this will absolutely rip at the 2024 Democrat National Convention. I'd love to hear someone explaining to the older white delegates who Little John is. He's a rapper, Mom. You know, that musical genre invented by Lin-Manuel Miranda. They actually had a DJ spinning songs from each state as they came up. He played Motown Philly for Pennsylvania, a Chapel Roan song for her home state of Missouri. Yeah. Iowa probably had Happy Birthday or some shit. Not a big music state. Personally, I can't wait to see my home state of Michigan show up. Ho, ho, ho! Yeah! Whew. Palms are sweaty, Mom. Spaghetti, you got the mic, Michigan. Make me proud.
Michigan, how do you cast your vote?
This November, Origin together. Michigan cast three present 125 votes.
Yeah! Michigan! What are you doing? You embarrassed us in front of Illinois. Oh! Michigan! Come on! Michigan, how did you mess that up? You can't say a simple number, but you know how to say Ypsilanti? Come on! This is why you go to rehearsal, ladies. You literally only had one shot and you missed your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I've sort of repositioned this thing. It's a little different position. Hopefully you can hear me. Anyhow, welcome to today's show. Hey, I see say hi there. Here it is. It's 11:15 in the a.m. here in the Pacific time zone in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And it's only about, waiting for the temperature, 88 degrees. We are cooling off here in Las Vegas. We've got, yesterday, the daytime high was under 100 degrees. Today it's the same, tomorrow the same. We've got 3 days in a row under 100 degrees. Probably the first time since late June. And our overnight low got into the 70s last night. Again, first time probably since June. So things are starting to cool down a little bit, which is nice. Get a break from the heat. Things are going to heat up a little bit. Back up to just barely over 100. 102, 103, 104. But still, that's way better than what it has been. All right, so I want to say hello to the chat real quick. Mike H, first one in today. Mike H, ready and raring to go. So there you go. Good to see Mike H. Eileen Cause here. Hi, Eileen. Thanks for being here. Number 2 in line. Walter Makarovich is next. Walter says, good morning, Trucker John. Just can't believe that Trump is holding a fundraiser for the criminals of January 6th. What a treasonous act. He never does. Trump never ceases to amaze, doesn't he? And his base will let him do whatever he wants and still follow him. But like I've said, I think the base is shrinking. Mar Barker's here from Otterville, North Carolina. Good to see Mar. Mar Barker. No relation to Ma Barker. I don't know. But thanks for being here. Thanks for checking in. Tom Bias is here. Hey, Tom. Good to see you. Alvin Stube in the driver's lounge. Good to see Alvin. Michael Gandrews was there. Yeah, Tom Bias. Okay, I'm just sort of repeating names now. But thanks, guys, for being here. Tom Bias says, I like your intro and extra music. Well, thank you very much. Walter says, got a good nickname for the Trump Kennedy Alliance. The real Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, really. The real Beavis and Butthead. Roxanne Armfield. Don O'Leary is here, and Roxanne is here. Good to see you guys. Michael Andrews is here. Good music. Thanks, Michael, for being here. That's right. Michael was on a camping trip and got a cold. So that's a bummer. Michael says, I'm almost over the cold. Hey, there's Jobama Kalama Bot. I always trip over that name. 2K. Can I just call you 2K for short? Says, sup, y'all? Not much. We're just hanging out here, just getting it going. Just getting things going here in the old driver's lounge. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. PB is here. PB says they're not only trying to suppress our vote, the red states are actively doing it. So we must overcome. Make sure you're registered. Check your registration, vote.org. And then, I don't know, do whatever you got to do to make sure you can get to your polling place. Be ready to stand in long lines, apparently, in some of these places. Teresa TAK is here. Good to see Teresa. Thanks for joining us here. Stephanie B2 is here. Hey, Steph. Good to see Stephanie. Of the Stephanie Miller Show? No, I'm just kidding. But Stephanie B2. Thanks for being here. William's here. Hey, William. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge as we just kind of kick back, relax, take it all in. You know what I mean? Stephanie B2 says the mouths are not synced to their words. Are you talking about the intro or are you talking about me? The intro thing might be the case. I don't know. You just have to deal with it. That's just the way it is. You know, there's only so much I can do. Say how says, what the fuck? I never saw Hal Q. Who's Hal Q? I'm looking for Hal Q. I don't know. Let's see. 70B2 says hello. It's 30 back in the hospital. So sorry to hear that. Hope everything's going okay with you. 72. Is there any way I can make their mouths sync up to the words that I hear? I don't know. Maybe refresh. I mean, if it's a little bit off, it's a little bit off. It's just the way it is. Seha is here. Let's see. Tom says it sounds good. Michael says we hear you. Okay, good, great. Just wondering, because usually I have the mic down here more. Now I got it up here. So, and apparently it only picks up if you're pretty close, because the AC goes on and off, and you guys never hear it. I don't think. At least when I watch back some of the playback, I never hear the AC. So that's good. Let's see. Jabama Kamalabat. Jabama Kamalabat. I think I'm getting it down. Jabama Kamalabat. 2K. I came back from Maui, and it's rainy fall weather all of a sudden. Yeah, sometimes the seasons can just change just like that. And then sometimes it fools you where you think, oh, it's fall, and then all of a sudden summer comes back for a little bit. So you got to watch out for that too. Say how it says, what was Hal on this morning? I didn't get notice. That's the problem, is you're relying on the notices. You should know that Hal's on at 11 a.m. every Saturday, like clockwork. You should just check it. You should just turn on your YouTube and go right to. You should be able to see if he's on or not. I don't know why people rely on the notices so much. I really don't get that. We know Hal's schedule, especially the Saturday show. So anyhow, yeah, you missed it. He was on. StuffDB2 says, I'm just praying that they can find pain management so I can get my pancreas removed and don't need pain meds. Yeah, Steph, I hope for the best for you there. That's a hairy thing you're going through. So, yeah, we're all thinking about you and sending good thoughts your way. Roxanne says, wow, we sure seem to be a healthy bunch. Said sarcastically there, I guess. Or ironically, I don't know. Anyhow, PB says, I don't know, it's an orange thing. I don't read emojis very good. PB says, say how couldn't say for sure. I only watch afternoon. Today is Saturday. Hal Sparks does a morning show every Saturday. That's why I post my schedule. See what was over here. And it's there, so it gets burned into your brains. Let's see. Richard Gregor. Mr. Richard Gregor. Good to see you. Hello all. Hello back at you. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. I don't know if I've ever seen you here before, so welcome, and make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to tell me how you found the show, that would be great. Great info to have. Donald Leary says Hal Sparks was on this morning. Yes, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Adjust to your time zone accordingly. Yeah, I don't wait for I don't have to look for a notification because I know his schedule. Fancy's there. Hey, Fancy says hello, everybody. Hello to Fancy. Good to see you. Never fear, Fancy is here. PB says this is such an exciting time in our history. An actual woman candidate for president and an actual really great shot at winning. Not that Hillary didn't have a great shot at winning, but I think even more so. I mean, we learned our lessons from 2016. I know there's like PB was saying, there's the red states are actively working to make it hard to vote and all that kind of stuff. But I think we've learned a lot of lessons in 2016. I don't think we're going to let it happen. I don't think so. There's just too much at stake, and just too many people that are pissed off, I think, and don't want Trump to be president no matter what. The whole Rovember thing. And now we've got the Kamala, train coming through like a locomotive, like a speeding locomotive. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. PB says TJ, you don't have to read everything I write. My feelings won't be hurt. But now, because you said that, I'm going to read every single thing that you write. No, I'm just kidding. Say how at Trucker John Q as in show up in my line on my subs. Oh, okay. Charlotte Batonnier. I don't know. I'm just guessing how to pronounce that your name. If I've totally butchered it, I apologize. Says so happy for you in the U.S. Kamala is a winner. Kamala's looking good, man. You know, I've watched some DNCs over the years and some RNCs over the years, and I usually watch a little bit here, a little bit there. It gets a little boring or whatever. You turn away from it, and then maybe you come back to it or whatever. But for this DNC, once I started watching, I could not turn away. I mean, it was like speech after speech after speech. It was like, oh God, I gotta watch this. It was like the next speaker would come on. I'm like, oh God, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. And they were good speeches. Just and all the goings ons were going on. Everything. It was really, I was really into it. I've never watched a DNC where I just sat and could not turn away from it. It was amazing. It was just the most amazing thing. And now it's over, and now we got to keep the momentum going all the way to November. Just got to keep it going. David Windler's here. Good to see David in the driver's lounge. David says, John, you're in sync. Hi, Donna and Roxanne. Thank you. I'm glad I'm in sync. Maybe in the intro, the video was a tiny little bit off, and I guess it really bugs people. I guess. Say how says, okay, Trucker John, screw this. Gonna go back to watch Hal since I'm so stupid. Okay, get all butthurt. Whatever, dude. Take your little butthurt feelings. Go watch Hal. Gerald Ray says, how Johnny and Philip sat. Wait a minute. Hal, Johnny, and Philip Saturday? I love these great sentence structures here. Roxanne Arfield says, say how Trucker John is just grouchy this afternoon. I'm not grouchy. You think this is grouchy? You ain't seen nothing yet. No, I just think it's ridiculous. I always hear people say, I didn't get my notification. And especially when it's a show that they've been watching for years, a channel they've been watching for years. It's not like they just found it yesterday or last week. I know Seha has been watching Hal Sparks for years. And then he wants to act like he doesn't know that Hal has when he's going to be on Saturdays. That just bugs me. I'm sorry. And Seha has been a big supporter of the show and a contributor, and I appreciate all that. But still, I got to be me, and I got to say what I feel. And maybe I'm my own worst enemy, and maybe I'm going to chase away some viewers and some subscribers. I don't know, but I got to be me. And I don't think this is me being grouchy. I think this is me being like a little perplexed. How I can't understand how people who watch a channel for years and years and years, and then they say, I didn't get a notification. What? Hal's been doing a Saturday show, I bet you, over 10 years, 15 years on WCPT every Saturday morning. He's rarely missed a show. And when he does miss it, he does a best of. So the show is always playing. 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's 11 o'clock Central time. So I don't get it when people say, I didn't get a notification. I didn't know he was on. So excuse me for bringing that up. PB, bring a clip to discuss. I'm not really set up for that. I mean, I have tried to play clips, and then the audio is really super low, and I don't really have a way to adjust the audio of the clip, because I have, like, I think on one of the last shows I did play some clips, and then people were saying they couldn't hear it, and then during the playback I played it back afterwards to see what was going on, and then sure enough, I mean the clip was really super low, and I really have no way. I don't think there's any way I can turn it up. I don't, because I'm using an app on my phone. It's just it's a phone. It's not. I'm not using a computer or whatever. So I would love to bring up clips and discuss them. Maybe someday I will when I have a better setup. But right now, the clips, the volume is just so low, and there really is no way for me to turn it up. So it kind of doesn't work too good doing the clips. Did I not see someone here? I don't know. Because I see Fancy saying Kevin. Did I miss Kevin being in here? I don't know, but hello, Kevin. If you're here, I don't see you. And I have it on all chat, so. But anyhow, if you're a type of person who's really thin-skinned and you're easily offended, then maybe this isn't the place for you. Just saying. Wes Webb says Trucker John is always grumpy, even when he laughs. Wes Webb, I'm not always grumpy. Fuck you. Fuck you, Wes Webb. You're always a troll. There, you like that? How do you like those? I like those beans. No, but good to see you, Wes. Glad you piping in there. Glad you're chiming in. Good to see you, Wes, actually. So thanks for being here. Minus Kevin Anderson. See, there is I didn't see you earlier, but anyhow. So Minus Kevin Anderson's here. Good to see you. Hello to Midas Kevin. Wes Webb just finished watching Hal. Anybody else think Phil might be CIA? That's interesting. I don't think so, but I guess so. Michael Andrews, keep being you, John. Keep being your grouchy asshole self, I guess. I don't know. Wes Webb laughing out loud, not grouchy, grumpy. Oh, like there's a difference? I didn't know there was even a difference. Charlotte Breton says DNC convention was so amazing and inspiring to me. I watched the whole thing at night from Europe. I hope Kamala will win. Me too, Charlotte. I really do hope, and I think she's got a great chance. We just got to vote. We just got to make sure we all turn up and vote, and send the orange turd packing to prison where he belongs. Wes Webb, I believe in gotta be myself as long as you are honest with yourself. I think that goes part and parcel. If you're being yourself, you're being honest with yourself. Fancy says, I'm too nice. That's my problem. Are we all going to do a little self-evaluation here? Let's do that. Let's all self-evaluate. What are you guys? You guys grumpy? You too nice? Are you grouchy? Is it grouchy versus grumpy? What's the difference between grouchy and grumpy? Can anyone tell me that? Michael McAndrew says the audio is okay. Good. I'm glad. Look at me. Look at me with my little microphone. Hey, Izolda's in here. Good to see Izolda. Hello to you. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Diana Nelson's here. Good to see Diana. Thanks for coming on in. I'm just having me some morning coffee. I'm just kicking back, and I'm being my grumpy or grouchy old self. I'm not sure which. Apparently, there's a difference between being grumpy and grouchy. Who knew? I thought they were like synonymous. Ba-dum-ba-bum. PB says, I just wonder what the point of this stream is. I think it's a fair question. That is a fair question. And I can understand why people would wonder. What the fuck is the point of this stream? You're exactly... That is probably the best question and the most... meaningful question ever. And I guess the point, maybe there is no point. I don't know. I think the point is just to hang out and go where it goes. Believe me, we've had 3-hour conversations talking about spiders and bugs and shit like that. And then we've had 3-hour conversations talking about, Trump and Biden at the time or whatever. So, I don't know. We kind of run the gamut. I kind of let the chat kind of lead us where we go. Usually, sometimes I was trying to do clips, but like I said, the audio is really low, so I'll have to figure out that. But sometimes I'll put up little memes, and we'll talk about those. I really didn't have anything today. I didn't really prepare anything. I'm kind of like, I think we did all this DNC stuff that I'm going to do, and for now, and and then next week we'll get into more stuff with the campaign continuing on and stuff. But yeah, what is the point? The point is just to have a place to hang out, I guess, and where we can chat, and where the host can berate you, I guess. Apparently, I don't know. Wes Webb says that's the prime example. Laughing while you say "fuck you," snarky. Oh, now I'm snarky. Okay, wait. I'm grumpy or grouchy or both or not both, and now I'm snarky. Just keep piling on there, Wes. Keep piling on, man. CR says, hey, Trucker John. Hello, CR. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping into the driver's lounge, where we really are. It really is pointless. It's a pointless place, but, but actually it's not pointless. I take that back. It's the place where we hang out. It's a hangout. Sometimes it's, it could be any subject, basically, I think. Jim Edelberg's here. Jim says, I hope the choice to exclude Palestinian speakers won't be a problem. I don't think it will be. And I don't mean to diminish, the whole Gaza thing. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. And I think Kamala Harris has expressed her and expressed whatever, her opinion and her thoughts on how to handle. She did in her speech. She talked about how, and I think I share her sentiment on this, about how Israel has a right to defend itself, and Israel will still get our support as far as defending themselves against the entire Middle East. But what's been going on to the Palestinian people is horrendous and awful, and it needs to stop. And Benjamin Netanyahu, needs to be told that this has got to stop. I don't know exactly what she said now, but it does put us in a real precarious position. We've been an ally of Israel since its existence. We helped to create Israel. So, and now you've got Netanyahu, who is basically just another crook, really wannabe dictator. He's just like Trump, just like Putin. Putin is a dictator, not wannabe, but so it is a really, really touchy, volatile situation. Not only the actual event, but just talking about it. But I don't think it's going to I don't think it's going to hurt her campaign, because I think deep down, unless you're just a fake, phony troll type who's, or a plant, I think most, like Palestinian Americans or people that are here that are Palestine, or from Palestine or whatever, I think they know that this situation would be even worse with Trump as president, and that really their only hope of getting anything done satisfactorily, getting the hostages back, getting the the killing to stop, getting a ceasefire, all that kind of stuff, it's much more likely currently with Biden, and then eventually with Kamala Harris as president. Much better than if Trump were president, because Trump would just tell Netanyahu, do what you got to do, just do it, take care of it, wipe them all out. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. I mean, you talk about genocide. Donald Trump would be a purveyor. Is that the word? Of genocide. He would be all, he wouldn't, he would, it'd be no holding back. Benjamin Netanyahu, I can't even say his name now, would not have anything to hold him back, because Trump would give him just carte blanche to level Gaza and level the whole place. So, and I think a lot of people know that, even though they're upset when things aren't going the way they want them with a ceasefire or whatever, but I think they still know that things are better under a Democratic leadership. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. BB says if there's no point, so be it. Yeah, so be it. Maybe some days have more of a point than other days. I don't know. As old as Zen says, Trump makes me grumpy. Yeah, I feel you. Diana Nelson says, well, here is a little good news. Democrat Josh Stein surges ahead in North Carolina governor race, but many voters undecided. Poll, let's hope the undeciders come to us. Yes. So there could be some heavy campaigning. Even if Harris campaigns there for her own campaign, that could help lift Josh Stein. And I really do see that happening with the Kamala Harris train. Hopefully that will lift all ships. I know I'm mixing metaphors, but Miles Horn's here. Hey, I don't know if I've seen Miles Horn before. Thank you for being here in the driver's lounge. Welcome to the driver's lounge. Miles says Wes is provocative. He gets the people riled up. Boy, does he ever. Midas Kevin says Isolde Trump is a crotchety old asshat, amongst other things. Gerald Moraine, September 18th sentence structure. Oh, is that what you were talking about earlier? Yeah, it would be interesting to see how that sentencing goes. PB says like heart, TJ, and a heart, and a like live long and prosper thing. Well, thank you, PB. Appreciate that. Charlotte Bretonnier says, your DNC inspired me to be more involved in politics in the Netherlands. Make a contribution. Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, so Charlotte, you're from the Netherlands, and we had CN, right? From the Netherlands. So is that two different Netherlands people, or are you the same person? Because sometimes people have different names or whatever. The same person. But yeah, welcome once again. But I'm glad that inspired you. And that, I think that DNC that's where you get the bump, right? And here they call it the bump, like the bump in the polls. And I haven't seen any new polling out yet, but I imagine there's going to be a big bump from that DNC in the polls as far as people voting for Kamala. And it is inspiring, even for me, even for an old crotchety, grumpy grouch like me, it's inspiring, you know. Michael McAndrews, I love to kid around. I love people. I just got to watch what I say to some who can't take it. I know. Me too. Me too, Michael. I got to watch myself. Diana Nelson says, "Oh, okay. It is 2:36 p.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I'm only 10 minutes behind in the chat, I guess. Apparently." Roxanne, why does anyone have a podcast, PB? I don't know. Just for the hell of it. Tom Bias says, PB, I don't have a problem with anyone who responds to me. I'm just a little slow. I'm on a phone, no PC. Okay. Alvin Stoops says, grouchy is situational. Grumpy is personality related. Oh, Thanks for that distinction. All right. I didn't know. I never knew. PB says, I guess I'm out here searching for one thing and you're delivering another. So it's not your fault. I'm just trying to figure myself out. Well, that's part of the journey. Figuring ourselves out. You know? Fancy says we talk about food a lot. Yeah, we do get on some food issues, some food conversations. That's for sure. Diana Nelson says, how do you feel about JFK joining with Trump? I really don't. I really don't give a fuck. RFK is such a whack job, and he's such a non-factor. I don't think he's a spoiler. He was trying to play spoiler. I think most of his support was probably either people that were Trump voters in the first place, or in other words, I don't think he was ever taking very, very much away from someone who might have been wanting to vote for Biden or now Kamala Harris. So I don't think it does anything as far as the election is concerned. But it kind of just shows really what front-running phonies they are, Trump and RFK. Because I don't think Trump really likes RFK. I think he just likes the name because he thinks the name that's a great, name recognition or whatever. I don't think he likes RFK Jr. at all. I think he probably thinks he's a weirdo too. And I don't think that RFK Jr. really likes Trump. It's just all this sort of marriage of convenience type of a thing, and because they think they can. It's all transactional. They all think that they'll get something out of it. But I don't think it's really going to amount to a hill of beans as far as the actual outcome of the election. I don't think this is not some sort of big deal that's going to, it's going to change things, change the course of history or whatever. RFK Jr. Oh, you said JFK joining Trump. I think you meant RFK Jr. Unless there might be some people, there probably genuinely are some people that think JFK is joining with Trump. The QAnons, but enough said. Big Hook, hey, Big Hook is here. Thanks for being here, joining us here in the lounge. Says, sick about worrying about shit that stupid people, Republicans, are doing to make our lives miserable. So the richest amongst us can get richer. I think we're all a little sick of that. And that's why we're going to see a big turnout. Michael McAndrews, brainworms stick together, Diana. Michael McAndrews, it's RFK, not JFK. Like I said, there probably are people out there. Hey, Nick Rich 56 is here, like number 27. Good day. Good day to you, Rich. I mean, Nick. Or 56. Thanks for being here, by the way. Diana, my bad. No, not that's cool. That's cool. I in fact, the first time I read it, my mind automatically just edited it to RFK Jr. Jim Adler, grouchy to grumpy to snarky, all in one breath, basically. Midas Kevin says, Fancy, did you see the the blink, you missed it. Moment of Michael Cohen at the DNC. I didn't see that. I didn't see that myself. Diana says you're right. She's part of the Biden administration, so she can't stray too far away. And if we're talking about positions on Gaza and Palestine, I don't think she's, even when she becomes president, I don't think she's going to be too much different. Other than, I mean, she might get a little more strict on shipping Israel weapons that they're using in Gaza. Like, they're not going to strip away their overall defensive ways to defend their country. But she might get more strict on not shipping them the things that they are using in these attacks on Gaza. Or I could see her getting, much more as far as sending the weapons over now. But as far as long term, they're not going to kill their long term position with Israel. But for the short term, she's going to probably be more on that than Biden is. I think. Tom Bias says the Palestinian American has connections to Iran, who hates us for not being Muslim. Yeah, they hate because whatever. Yeah. Niner Nelson says, I was thinking she ought to have a private meeting with them, no cameras, no phones allowed, and let them know her thoughts and what she plans to do. Midas Kim says, it was on Adam Ogler's show. He goes, oh, I see Michael Cohen. Oh, can we get an interview? I'm busy. Oh, sorry. I didn't see that, but I thought it was pretty cool, Mockler walking around just grabbing interviews and stuff. That was pretty cool. Michael McGann, just wait till they see my project, 4842. Charlotte Bertonier says, vote for Kamala or the creepy old criminal. In Europe, we laugh at Trump, not U.S. Not U.S., I guess. Yeah, we're laughing at Trump too, most of us. Big Hook says the Gaza affair is because we have leadership corruption on both sides. This disarm Israel is pointless because Israel either builds all of their own stuff or will buy from other nations. And then we lose intel. It was all as one word. You were doing good. You were doing so good until that last word. Jim Adler, Mark Robinson is a super creepy religious nutcase. Is that the guy in North Carolina who said that they should start shooting liberals or something like that? Some weird ass thing that they should lock his ass up for saying that. He's like inciting. He's inciting murder, man. Wes Webb says we celebrate the people in the Donbass who are staying in their cities and making more of the underground. Gaza does the same, and their underground city is evil. Probably because their underground city is run by Hamas, you dipshit. Stop confusing Palestinians with and Hamas. And the people of Donbass are not Hamas. They're not terrorists. Hamas is a fucking terrorist organization. Jeff Curry is here. Says Curly is here. Can start the show now. Hey, Jeff Curry. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for being here in the good old driver's lounge. You've probably been here for a while. You might even be gone by now, as that's how far behind I am. Charlotte Breton says we are not the same person. Okay, good. That's good to know. Now I have two people from the Netherlands. Although CN, I don't see CN here today, but I know it's a big difference in time. It's really late at night where you guys are at, so you can't always catch the show. Michael McAndrews, the world was supposed to end last month. We fucked up. Was it really? I know, according to Trump, yeah, it's always the end of the world or whatever. You know, it's so bad. And the difference between the campaigns, that's what it is. Like, it's for Trump, it's everything's going to hell in a handbasket. It's the end of the world. These are America's in decline and all this kind of shit. And then you go over to the Harris campaign, and it's all about, hey man, we're going to bring on the joy. And you know, it's just the differences are so stark, you know. And you know, it's so uplifting. That's why I think everyone's getting so excited about Kamala Harris and her campaign, because you walk away feeling good and feeling better and feeling positive and full of hope. And people respond to that a lot better than than fucking Trump, where everything is just down and dour and sour and, you know, oh, woe is me. I mean, there's only so much of that you can take, you know? Only so much you can take. Miles Horn, thanks for the shout out, Trucker John. Well, thanks for being here. Hey, Josh is here. Josh is in the lounge. RFK should open a bait shop. Yeah, and he can just pull out a worm. You know? He would have the worm for him, for the bait. I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Josh. Jeff Curry says, is there still weirdo in Dallas waiting for JFK to return? Like the QAnons? I don't. Probably there might be. They might still be there. Hey, OJ Doo's here. Or OG Doo, not OJ. May he rest in hell, right, or rot in hell. But OG Doo is here in the driver's lounge. Welcome. Good to see you again. Says the Brunson brothers Supreme Court case, Smartmatic, bribery scheme, and DJT executive order 13848 will expose 2020 election fraud. Keep yapping. Alrighty then. Yeah, keep yapping. I don't know what's going on. You guys are coming to the defense of Fancy. I kind of skipped down, so yeah, we protect Fancy. Let's see. Vin Bowie's here. Hello to Vin Bowie. Good to see you. Thanks for jumping into the driver's lounge. We hang out. I guess the point of the stream is just a hangout. It's a hangout place. It's kind of in the title too. But yeah, we're hanging out and just shooting the shit. I guess Fancy's working on her channel. Charlotte Bretonnier says, we have a multiple party system here. Scum like Trump will never rise to the top, I think. When you add the I think part, then I'm like, okay, maybe it's not such a sure thing. Maybe Trump could rise with that. maybe the multiple party thing isn't so infallible. Because at first I'm thinking, yeah, maybe we should have multiple parties. Well, although we do have multiple parties, but realistically, especially when it comes to the national election of president, the office of president, it's pretty much a two-party system. It's just the way it's set up, the way it's designed. It's really, really hard for a third party or any other parties to get in on the action. It would really, really take a lot of getting everyone on all the ballots. That's why Bernie Sanders, whenever he ran for president, would all of a sudden become a Democrat because he knew he couldn't win. He had no chance of winning as a true independent and running in some independent party. He had to become a Democrat to get on all the ballots in all the states. What's web? The people of Gaza are also mostly no Hamas. I know, but the ones that are digging the tunnels, I think, are Hamas. At least the tunnels that are where the bomb making and the missile making is coming from is from Hamas, and they do all that shit underground, usually under a hospital or under a school or something, or in a heavily residential areas and stuff, using the Palestinian people as shields. Isolde Zinn says, and this is in quotes, I don't know why she, Kamala, would want this country. Some orange asshole. Fancy says, how are you feeling, Trucker John? Still have a little bit of remnants of the cold. I'm feeling better, but thank you for asking. But I still do have, as you can see, I'm kind of wiping my nose and stuff. But it's one of those things. You know how colds, you can feel better, but then it seems to kind of linger on a little bit. Hey, James Williams is here. Good morning to James Williams. Good to see you here in the Truckers Lounge. Today's just a kickback, hangout day. We're just hanging out, talking amongst ourselves. Jeff Curry says, storming here now, power flickering. Jeff Curry, I forget where you're at. You might want to remind us where you're at so we know where the storm is brewing. Because I do forget. 56 Nick Friend says a coalition government can be a blessing or a curse, like most politics. Yeah, I suppose there's pros and cons no matter what way we go, Michael McAndrews, we are living through stinky, dumpy Trump times. But I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And Kamala Harris has given us a lot of hope that we're going to get through that tunnel quicker. Hopefully. James Williams says, Trucker John is the only stream that lets the chat determine the conversation. Pretty much. Tom Bias says, Perot brought us Clinton, Nader brought us Bush Jr. Yeah, they were spoilers. Yeah, I mean, Perot certainly took away more Bush votes than Clinton votes. Nader... if not for Nader, then Florida might not have been so, necessary, right? And it's pretty sad because, Ralph Nader, he was kind of I don't know if you call him a hero, but, he was, about consumer protection, and he brought lawsuits and was able to get unsafe products off of the market and expose a lot of that kind of stuff. And for that, he deserves a lot of credit and a lot of, a lot of praise, I guess. But then when he did that, when he was playing the spoiler and he was really hurting the Democrat in Al Gore. I lost really all respect for the guy. Whatever respect I had for him for his consumer rights and fighting for the consumer and for public safety and those type of things, it kind of went out the window. So I hope he knows that. I hope that somehow he knows that he has lost the respect of Trucker John. Wes Webb says Hillary wrote a very analytical book about why she lost. So many factors were to blame, but she mostly lost because Trump was more entertaining. That's a fair point. That does take a lot of that. It's kind of like why I think Kamala Harris has reignited the Democrats. Even though policy-wise, she's probably going to be almost just like Joe Biden. There'll be very little difference, I believe, between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in policy, in basic ideology. Now, she might do something. She's going to put her own touches on it, and she might, build upon the stuff that Biden has done, and so it's going to be a little more, even more forceful, I guess, or more impactful. But still, there's not much difference. But when she, entered the campaign as being on top of the ticket, you can see how it just ignited and it brought so many more people into following the campaign and supporting her campaign. I mean, even though they're basically the same, they really are as far as policy. And so, what's the difference? Well, Kamala Harris is younger. She's attractive. She doesn't have a stuttering problem. She speaks very well. Her speeches are almost perfect. And you come away with these positive messages. So you could say that she's more entertaining, if you want to use entertaining in a really, I guess, broad sense. So the difference between the campaigns now going from Biden to Harris, you could say, is because she's more entertaining, and she's more entertaining than Trump, because everyone's sick of Trump's shit now. I think even his own base are getting sick of hearing the same old fucking shit. I mean, just weird word salad nonsense, and crying about crowd size, and going all the way back to the 2016 inauguration and talking about his crowd size from then. Who gives a fuck about your crowd size from 8 fucking years ago? Not even your own followers give a fuck about that, Trump. You fucking nincompoop. So even Trump is boring his own followers to fucking death. So if we're basing this on being entertained, then Kamala Harris has got this she's got that when you compare to Trump. So that's a good point, Wes. A very good point. I'm going to give you a point for your point. I'm just skipping down in the chat. We've got some greetings going on, I guess, and people saying hi again. And Teresa, because Teresa was here. Now I don't know if you left, but you're back, or you're saying hi again. So hello to Teresa again. Jeff Curry. Oh, Lake of the Ozarks area, Missouri. That's where Jeff is, and so it's getting stormy out there. Okay. Well, hunker down and be careful. Hey, Oliver Brownlow is here in the chat. Welcome to the chat. Good. Thanks for being here and chiming in and hanging out with us. We got 44 watching, 49 thumbs ups. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Let's get as many people in on this because, I mean, you don't want to miss this. Anyhow, Oliver Brownlow says that I seem to remember that Ralph Nader was roundly criticized for not running as a Democrat. Bernie was criticized for running as a Democrat. Nader was criticized for not running as a Democrat. Yeah, well, I think. Well, Nader was criticized. Yeah, for taking away votes from Gore as an independent. And Bernie was criticized for running as a Democrat because it seemed hypocritical, even though he has always caucused with the Democrats, and he really is a Democrat. I don't give a shit about calling himself. I think he has to call himself a Democratic socialist or put socialist in there somehow. When he was running in Vermont, because Vermont maybe wasn't ready to elect just a straight on Democrat as their senator. So I think he saw a way in by looking at the polling or whatever, and he was like, I'm going to be an independent, but I'm going to caucus with the Democrats, and so that's how he got elected as a senator in Vermont. You had to be, you got to be strategic about it. You got to be tactical about it in some of these places. But then if he wants to run for president, if he ran as an independent, then that would be totally as a spoiler, because there's no way he's going to get on all the ballots in all 50 states. So you're spoiling one of the campaigns or the other. You're either spoiling the Republican or the Democratic nominees, and in this case, since he's basically a Democrat who runs as an independent in his state, if he ran as an independent, he would have totally been taking away votes away from Hillary or whoever, whatever, and all the Democrats. So his criticism was like, when people criticize him, was like, oh, you want to be an independent all the time until you're running for president, and now all of a sudden you're a Democrat. But I can understand all of it. I understand why, and that's definitely a difference between him and Nader. You're right in pointing out that difference. Hey, look at there. We got a $20. Is this a super chat or super sticker? Thank you so much from Michael McAndrews. There it is. I'm going to give it a heart and a thumbs up. Thanks for listening to us, John. You're welcome, Michael McAndrews. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my either grumpiness or my grouchiness or even my occasional snarkiness. I appreciate it. And thank you for not getting butthurt and running away like some others have. Like I said, I'm probably my own worst enemy when it comes to retaining people. So I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you so much for the support. It helps the show. It helps us to keep going and growing and getting bigger and better and badder and all that good stuff. So thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Let's see. David Willer says the light at the end of the tunnel is an oncoming train. I hope not. I hope not. Hey, Agolf Twitler's here. Hey, Agolf, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge today. We're just kicking back. We're just kicking back and hanging out. I'm having myself a cup of coffee. Hopefully, you guys have some beverage of your choice, and we're just hanging on this beautiful Saturday in the Ozarks. Apparently, it's very stormy. Here in Las Vegas, it's very nice. We got some nice weather coming in. Diana Nelson says, also, I forgot Cornel West is also still on the ticket. Hello to all. Hello, Diana. Yeah, and those, I just think those are non-factors, really. I mean, the amount of votes that are going to get are so tiny and tiny and insignificant. I don't think it is going to play a factor in one way or the other. You know. Minus Kevin says, "Hey, 56 Nick Rich, did you see your buddy from his talk at the DNC?" I was like, "Whoa." I don't know who you're talking about. Hey, Eggoff Twitler says, how does putting an anti-vax conspiracy theorist in a Secretary of Health and Human Service 4 years after 1.5 million Americans died from pandemic attract moderates? Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. All it does is attract the same kooks that are already there to begin with. So, West Webb says Elizabeth Warren carries the Nader torch from within the party. Spoiler, only working for the other guy. I love Elizabeth Warren. How dare you? I think she's great. She does great work. She's a great senator. And she's all about consumer protection. Walter McCarovich says, Trucker John, did you see the story about CNN talking to undecided voters and they discovered one of them was full-fledged Trump supporter? Well, no. Say it's not so. That can't not be. Maybe that's maybe CNN should be I don't know. Maybe they should vet those people a little bit more. I don't know. Nick Trish, who are you referring to? My buddy, minus Kevin Anderson. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, Nick. I thought you would know. I thought because you said it like you would just know. Diana Nelson says Trump was a novelty. That was why people voted for him. They thought he thought we don't need a politician to be president. How wrong they were. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There was a lot of that going on. And I guess I could maybe give him a pass for the first time in 2016, but not in 2020 and not in 2024. We see what he's all about. We know what he's all about. There really is no excuse now. And if you keep voting for him now, then you need to have your head examined. Or something. I guess Kevin was talking about Doug Emhoff to Nick Rich. I don't know. Janelle Walker's here. Hello, Janelle. Good to see you. Thanks for being in the driver's lounge, kicking back and hanging out. We're just hanging out today. Stephen Sayers says, good morning, TJ and Chatters. Good morning to Stephen Sayers. Thanks for dropping by. Glad to see you could make it. I'm glad people are coming in. Kind of makes up for the few that I chased away earlier. That were loyal supporters of the show, and I think I chased them away. So hopefully we're making up for it by getting more people coming in. Zolda Zen says Hillary Clinton lost because of misogyny, not changing my view. That was huge. That was a huge part of it, and I mean that was a pretty big part of it. Although she still won the popular vote by 3 million votes. So yeah, there was people that wouldn't vote for her because she's a woman, but she still won the popular vote by 3 million. It really came down to those pinpointed areas in those like Rust Belt states, many that were formerly loyally or I guess loyally blue, and they, due to that micro targeting from the Russian troll farms and bot farms, they were able to get people to turn their votes around to Trump, or just not vote for Hillary and vote for Jill Stein or whatever, to the point of where it was a difference of about 80,000 votes in these swing states, and that's what got the electoral count for Trump. Whether that was misogyny, I don't know how. I mean, what the bots and the trolls were saying was probably misogynistic, and so yeah, I mean, so you're right, Isolde. But it was that micro targeting, and then whatever they said to bring down Hillary in misogynistic terms, or and anything they could do to make her look weak and Trump look strong, I guess. But you're right. You're not wrong, Isolde. West Webb says, I'm hoping that she will be less afraid of our military establishment. Uncle Joe was afraid of dealing with the bad side of business. You're going to have to explain yourself on that one, Wes, because that sounds like horseshit to me, as far as Joe being afraid of dealing with the bad side of business. What the fuck does that even mean? Come in here with that shit, Wes. James Williams says, I think that Hillary lost because of a perception of entitlement, and bills of fare didn't help. Well, I don't know if any of that, if I agree with any of that, but I do agree that people didn't like the Clinton, just the fact that she's a Clinton, just like they got tired of Bushes being. I think they didn't want any more Bushes. Like they wouldn't want Jeb Bush. The American electorate, I think, overall doesn't like, like a royalty system where we have the same, family over and over again. So I think there is some of that where it's like, no, not another Bush. Even if you're a Republican, I mean, Republicans are still going to vote for Bush, but I guess it's the independents and the people who can go either way is the main kind of block, right? Voting block. And so people are tired of seeing the same names over and over again. And so I think Hillary suffered from some of that too, even though she did win the popular vote by 3 million. I guess I have to keep reminding people of that. But there was some of that. Like, no, not another Clinton, We don't need any more Clintons. And it's just like people keep saying Michelle Obama. They always say Michelle Obama should run for president. And I guarantee you, there would be a lot of people saying no, not another Obama, even though they might think that Michelle Obama is great and that they love her speeches and they think she's really smart and brilliant and says great things. But there would be a lot of people who would go, no, we're not like a royalty. This isn't like a kingdom or whatever, or it's passed down. No, we elect different people. Even though throughout our history, there's been, there was Adams, and then there was like Adams' nephew or whatever. There wasn't like a son, father, something, but so we've had a couple of those things, and then the Bushes, and then it would have been the Clintons, but so I think that's part of it too, was the name thing, them being the same family. Did hurt her to some extent. Although, again, like I said, she did win the popular vote by 3 million. Josh says Walls wins the prize for entertainment value. He's a very gregarious, we could say, maybe, very animated when he speaks. And he does good speeches, too. Wes Webb says, it used to be a sign before TV. Crowd size signaled your popularity. Yeah, but to bring up and harp on your crowd size from 8 years ago and insist that your crowd was bigger than the MLK crowd when MLK did the I Have a Dream speech, when there's photographic evidence and video evidence or film evidence to the contrary, you can see the huge crowds that MLK got. And you can see the sparse crowds that Trump got, and for him to continue and to insist that his crowds were even bigger. Okay, that's a sign of delusionment on Trump's part and mental illness, apparently, of some sort on Donald Trump's part. That's the point I'm making. Agolf Twitler says Trump's a bad trip. Don't eat the brown acid kind of experience. A don't eat the brown acid kind of, yeah, he's a bad trip. If you want to use that analogy, fine. Michael McAndrew says, I've had bad trips. I know. Tom Bias says, TJ, you should keep a point tally board. What am I tallying though? Like what points? My points? Your points? Kevin Anderson says James Williams, Hillary lost because of a third party instead of vote for me, no vote for me. It turned into meh, you don't like them, vote for us. Boy, that was a confusing sentence. A run on, by the way. I think like we've said, and we've all said, there's a whole bunch of reasons why Hillary lost. But I think it almost always comes down to Russian involvement. We talk about third parties. Who was in the photograph in Russia at a Russian event where Vladimir Putin was speaking? Who was sitting at the table that was a third party candidate in that election, 2016? I'll give you guys one guess. And how it all comes full circle. I'm just now coming to Michael's super chat. Thank you so much, Michael, again. That's how far behind I am in here. Nick Rich says, what matters is what happens in November. Oliver Brownlow says, Nader was a public servant and a public citizen his whole life. The only reason he ran for president was because the Democrats under Bill Clinton became deaf to his attempts to promote good policies. And he exacted revenge because he was a scornful lover or whatever. He was a jilted lover. So somehow that gives him the right to just fuck over the entire country. Because giving us George W. Bush fucked over the entire country. So I say, fuck you, Ralph Nader. I don't give a fuck if you're a hero for public citizen and all this bullshit. Fuck you, Ralph Nader. You fucked over the country. You gave us 9/11, basically. Because I believe under a Gore presidency, I don't think 9/11 would have ever happened. Because you know what? You want to know why? Because President Gore would have read the goddamn presidential daily briefings. He would have known what was being cooked up. He would have been ready for it. So fuck Ralph Nader. He gave us 9/11. He gave us George Bush. He gave us the Iraq War, in which we were in it for 20 fucking years. Unnecessarily. He gave us that fucking shitbag, George W. Bush. So fuck Ralph Nader and his fucking public service. Fuck that shit. It's all nullified. He nullified it when he gave us George W. Bush. So fuck you, Ralph Nader. If you're watching this, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. How's that for grumpy? Skipping down. Josh says Bernie wants to get big money out of politics, one of a kind. Lots of people are saying that now, not just Bernie. But Bernie did bring on a lot of these issues that were seen as being radical left or whatever, and are now much more mainstream. So we can always thank Bernie for that. I give Bernie a lot of credit for getting these topics more in the mainstream. Because Bernie did get a lot of support. I voted for Bernie in the primaries in 2016. So I give him a lot of credit for bringing a lot of progressive, ideology and policy positions more into the mainstream of the Democratic Party. He deserves immense credit for that. Immense credit. David Willer, we didn't want a Clinton dynasty after Bush's. But again, she won the popular vote by 3 million votes. So I'll just say that. I guess that's going to be my response to every time people say, they didn't vote for this, they didn't do that, didn't do this. Well, she got 3 million more votes. It was the micro-targeting by the Russians that killed it for her. And by the way, I don't know if I'm there yet, but the person who was one of the third-party candidates that was running for president and that showed up in Russia, there's a picture that showed up where she was in Russia at an event with Putin. That was Jill Stein, right? So don't tell me she wasn't on a Russian payroll. Diana Nelson says Clinton was the most qualified person that ever ran for president. She knew how to the government ran, and the fact that people didn't like her was just terrible. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, Diana. 100%. 100%. Agolf Twiddler. Every time I listen to Liz Warren, I learn something. Liz Warren is awesome. She's awesome. I don't know if she would have been a good president. I did vote for her in the primary in 2020. And I'm sure she would have been. I'm just not sure if she is as qualified as Hillary was, and I don't think she's as qualified as Kamala Harris is. I think Kamala Harris now takes the mantle of like most qualified or whatever. I'm just glad Elizabeth Warren is still a senator and she's still doing a kick-ass job in the Senate. Minus Kevin says, I like the news that Taylor Swift is suing Trump. Yeah, that's good. Sue the fuck out of him. Janelle says, hi, Trucker John. Hello, Janelle. Back at you. Jeannie's here. Good to see Jeannie in the driver's house. Thanks for being here. Robert Brabant is lurking. He's lurking. West says, in 2016, I was a crazy man. Campaigning for Hillary. Starting about this time, the Dems told us that it was possible that Hillary was losing electorally. Yeah. West Webb says a guy named Mercer and another one named Zuckerberg allowed Trump to use their ad algorithm for a price. Hillary thought hers was better. It wasn't. And kind of funny how a lot of those ads were being paid for in rupees or ruples or whatever the fuck Russia. What does Russia use? Rubles, right? I don't know. It was whatever it was Russian currency. So you figure it out from there. You figure it out from there. West Webb, military industry, John, we want our arms to be the best. I don't know if that had to do with your earlier comment about Biden being afraid of something. Nick Rich, Wes is trolling the tough cookie. Wes says, even if they won't even work in many situations, why even have an above water Navy? Because it's cool. Are you talking about our Navy? Our Navy is the fucking most awesome Navy in the fucking world. You kidding me? as old as in Robert Perez, Lebanon, one of the few people who know less about sports history than I do. There's still reason to have a Navy, okay? And just know that our defensive tactics and strategies and abilities, I think, are probably infinitely better than Russia's. Let's see. I'm just skipping down a little bit here. Because you guys talking about arms, bearing arms, and stuff like that. Tom Bias says, I'm staying with TJ up in the chat. That was a good one. Agolf Twitler. Walter McCarovich, Trucker John, I think you're right to agree on royalty in USA, but the one we are all tired of is Trump University, Trump Airlines, Trump casinos, and Trump as president. 50 years of hell. Well, but that was a different. That's a completely different subject. Yeah, I was talking about dynasties. We didn't want a Bush dynasty. People didn't want a Clinton dynasty. With Trump, apparently they just want a Trump dictatorship. Whoever's following Trump, they seem to have no problem with tearing up the Constitution and just making Trump their dictator leader, and then I guess from then having a dynasty, because when Trump croaks, I guess would it just go down to Don Jr.? I don't know. Delta Don is here. Hey, Delta Don, good to see you. Delta Don says, did you guys know that a bunch of MAGAs believing that Michelle Obama is a man, Barack is gay, and that Joan Rivers confirmed this in some flyby interview in New York City years ago? Talk about crazy. Yeah, I've heard all that shit, and it whenever I hear it, I immediately know that whoever is saying that, and believing that, is just not someone who's even that deserves the dignity of any type of response. They're just totally whack job, nut job, waste of my breath to try to even talk to a person like that. So, but yeah, I mean, even when Michelle spoke at the DNC, then there were already people in comments and in chat, not necessarily my chat, but in other chat rooms or whatever, you would see comments where they say Michael instead of Michelle and all that kind of stuff. As soon as they say Michael, you know exactly what they're talking about. You know exactly who they are. And I usually just scroll on, and I don't really spend any time on a person like that. Hey, Applitz is here. Applitz says Gore did win. SCOTUS scrapped it. Yeah, they had SCOTUS appointed the presidency to Bush. That's for sure. But Ralph Nader, if he hadn't been taking away votes from Gore in the first place, then it wouldn't even had come down to that, to needing Florida, in my opinion. Music is here. Music says that Bernie mainstreams so many important issues. Yes, absolutely. That's what I was saying. I give Bernie Sanders, and he deserves the credit for getting Medicare for all. No one was really talking about Medicare for all until Bernie, and now that's one of the main planks of the Democratic platform. It's getting increasing either Obamacare or Affordable Care Act, like Obama says. Now that it's cool, they don't call it Obamacare anymore. But yeah, a lot of the Bernie stuff that he was running on is now mainstream Democratic stuff, and he deserves that credit. Oliver Brownlow says, Christ, you must think Ron Nader was omnipotent. It's so incredibly lazy and dishonest to blame Nader for Gore's loss. Gore was a horrible candidate. He didn't win his own home state. So who was supposed to run instead? He won the primary. He won his primary. He became the nominee. I mean, hindsight's 2020. You can say he was a horrible candidate, but they also say that about Hillary. I've heard the same thing about Hillary, that she was a horrible pick. That the reason that the Democrats lost to Trump is because they put Hillary up. Well, she won the fucking primaries quite convincingly, so that she wasn't put up. She campaigned like everybody else, and she won the primaries, and she got all the delegates that she needed. And yet I hear people to this day will say that was a horrible choice. The Democrats put up a horrible candidate. And yet, again, I'll say again, she won the popular vote by over 3 million votes. So I don't know how she was horrible. And now you can look back and say Gore was horrible because he didn't win his own state and all this shit. Well, hindsight's 2020. He won the primaries. So what the fuck are you supposed to do? Apparently he ran good enough in the primaries to win the primaries. I think Ralph Nader did play a big part in it, in taking away votes in key swing states away from Gore. So, fuck you, Oliver Brownlow. Fuck you. Hey, Robin M's here. Robin says, I voted for Liz in the primary and then Hillary for president. That's exactly what I did. Oh, wait. Oh, in 2016, I voted for Bernie. And then I voted for Hillary. In 2020, I voted for Elizabeth Warren. And then I voted for Biden in the general. Steve Sayers, I voted for Nader. In the time, he was the only one fighting the power. Voting for Nader was throwing your vote away, basically. He had no chance of winning. You just threw your vote away. But it's a free country. You can do what you want. You can vote for whoever you want. But I'm just saying, a vote for Nader was basically just flushing it down the toilet. Delta Don says, wasn't Warren a Republican back in the day? I heard that recently. She may have voted. She may have been a registered Republican back in Oklahoma when she was growing up in Oklahoma, a very red state. But politically, once she got into politics, I don't think she's ever was a Republican. But maybe as a young person in Oklahoma, she may have registered as a Republican, maybe. I'm not really sure. Music says rubles. Yeah, wait, that's how far behind I am. Yeah, so Facebook had all these ads being paid for in rubles. Should have been a big. They knew they were taking Russia money, taking that Russia money. Music says the Navy is like the whole U.S. military. The Navy could beat the Army and the Air Force many times over. Yeah, the Navy's pretty awesome. The Navy has its own Air Force, Naval Air Force. So, I would not confuse the U.S. Navy with the Russian Navy. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I would not do that. That would probably not be wise. Josh says, I'm honestly surprised he didn't pick Don Jr. for VP. I guess maybe Trump Sr. even thought that might have been going too far. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Or Ivanka. Mod Day says, hi, Josh. At work now we must get together so I can mail it to you. So I don't know what that was about. I don't know. I should not even probably read that one. Agoff Twitler says, a new Gallup poll shows that Americans view marijuana as less harmful than alcohol or tobacco, and that more people now smoke cannabis than cigarettes. Wow. I believe that. Yeah. Agoff Twitler continues. This is the first time in U.S. history that a major party presidential ticket includes two candidates who both back legalizing marijuana. Well, there you go. There you go. Fancy, I love the picture of Bernie with the scarf and gloves. Yeah, I know. I do too. That's one of my favorite images of Bernie. Applet says Hillary wanted universal health care as first lady. Repubs scorned her ever since. That's true. That was her big kind of thing as first lady. You're right, Applets. You're absolutely right. Mackenzie Carter Cameron is in the chat. Hello, Mackenzie Carter Cameron. Welcome to the chat. Glad to see you. Says Hillary and Kennedy should get most of credit for Obamacare, at least the concept for sure. And then maybe even Mitt Romney. Basically, the Affordable Care Act, from what was reported, was largely taken from a Republican health plan that was, I think, put together by Mitt Romney, or when he was senator and before Utah, before he moved to where he was from. I forget now, but wherever he was from. Delta Don says, I agree, John. I think it's downright disgusting regarding Michelle. Unfortunately, I have two close relatives that believe that the plural bullshit, and I don't know how to deal with it or them. That's tough when it's relatives, close relatives that talk that kind of shit. So it just depends on, you know your family better than I do. If it's going to ignite World War III, if you dare say anything, then maybe you don't want to say anything. But if you can have a conversation and things aren't going to get out of hand, you might want to just say, that's ridiculous. And not only that, but it's not just, it's more than just ridiculous. It's obviously really disgusting. And not that there's anything against trans people. If she was truly trans, then hey, I'm all for it, man. Live your life, be you. But she's not. She's a woman. She had 2 children. She's obviously a cisgendered woman. And for people to be talking that shit, either A, they know that it's just shit and they're just trolling you. They want to troll and trigger people, or they're just really that stupid that they would believe it. So I don't know, what do you do with that? If they're in their family and relatives, and you don't want to, ruin Thanksgiving dinner or whatever, or whatever get together you're at. I guess sometimes you just let it lie. I don't know. Those family situations are always tough. They're always the toughest, Hey, there's Kimchi. Thanks for joining us here in the Driver's Lounge. We're just kicking back and hanging out and and occasionally getting yelled at and stuff like that. Kim, she says, hi, beautiful Mother Trucklers, hugs, Trucker John, beautiful Jolie, and Teresa, Nick Rich. I haven't seen Jolie. I think Jolie's busy. She's got a lot of family stuff going on. I don't think so. I haven't seen Jolie. Michael McAndrew says Kamala will make a great president, and I agree. I think I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I think Joe Biden has been the best president within my lifetime, and I would like to see Kamala Harris, you know, be even greater than Biden. Which is kind of funny because I kind of discounted Kamala Harris. You know, what I was thinking earlier, you know, before Biden stepped out of the campaign, you know, during the time leading up to that, and thinking about Biden winning, and I was pretty confident that Biden would still win, even though the polls are he was behind, but he was sort of creeping up in the polls, and in some polls he was kind of getting, you know, to even with Trump and all that. And I still felt that once the election came, that with November and with everything at stake, that people were going to come through and vote for Biden, and I still believe that. So I remember thinking about, okay, so if Biden wins and he does a second term and he gets through a second term, then you start thinking about 2028, even though it's, you know, still a long way away. But you think, okay, who's going to run then? And I would think about Gavin Newsom. I like Gavin Newsom, and then, you know, and then there was this whole kind of other list of even I think Gretchen Whitmer was being touted as possible, you know, and then there's like a few other names that keep popping up, but I never really heard Kamala Harris's name being brought up that much, and even by myself not really bringing. I kind of discounted Kamala. I was just, and of course she was going to run, like if in 2028, if she, you know, if Biden, you know, had won this term, and of course she was going to run, but I kind of discounted her. You know, I kind of was like, I think she's probably good enough at vice president, and somebody else should probably run or whatever, you know. And that's kind of crazy to think now, right? It's like, because she's coming onto the campaign, and I'm all for Kamala. I'm all in, and I think she's going to be a great president. But I kind of was like thinking in 2028, you know, if Biden had won this, was, you know, like I said, I was kind of thinking, I was kind of looking past her, you know, for some reason. But now, wow, it's just amazing how things have changed, and I'm all in. I'm all in on Kamala, but it's really kind of amazing that the turn of events here. You know, West Webb, I vowed never to support one party. In Illinois, Dems are even often crooked. They let the daughter of the mob boss speak at the convention. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm sure that the Illinois Republicans are pure as the driven snow. I'm positive of that, right? Kimchi says, hi, Steven. Respect for coming in the 21st century. Stephen Sayers says, I guess it's in response to Stephen Sayers saying, ultimately, what does the First Lady, President for USA, really mean for us and our country? And so Kim Chi was saying it means respect for coming into the 21st century. Yeah, it means that it means a lot. It wasn't too long ago women couldn't even vote. I mean, it's been like 100 years, right? But I mean, women couldn't even vote at one time. And even within my lifetime, I mean, women couldn't even get a credit card without their husband signing on it. You know, there were things that women couldn't do, even within the last 40 or 50 years. So to have a woman as president, that's a pretty big deal. As Joe Biden would say, it's a pretty big fucking deal. Is that what he said? The big fucking deal. It's a big fucking deal. Mackenzie Carter Cameron says true. Mitt Romney also was very successful in Massachusetts. Oh yeah, Massachusetts is where he's from. And I remember when the Affordable Care Act was coming out, a lot of people were saying that a lot of that came from a Republican idea, and Mitt Romney's name was thrown in there. So I guess that was something he was pushing in Massachusetts, and they just emulated a lot of that. Apparently now Wes Webb is an expert in naval tactics. Good for you. Apparently Oliver Brownlow was a big Ralph Nader ball juggler or whatever. I don't know. Just can't get off the Ralph Nader thing. Apparently Oliver Brownlow, huge Nader taint licker, apparently. Kimchi says it only took 3 years under Biden's tutelage to become an amazing leader. Yeah, that's probably it. Learned a lot from Joe. Mackenzie Carter Cameron says, Fancy My Pup's name is Fancy, named after my favorite Reba song. Oh, yeah. I think we may have had that conversation before. It sounds familiar. Now, Wes Webb, and I was also thinking this too. Wes says that she would have been posed before the end of Uncle Joe's second term. And there's a good possibility of that. But at the time, I didn't know that Biden was really doing so poorly physically. You know what I mean? Up until the very end there, up until that debate, actually. It wasn't until the debate that I was like, oh, shit. Because he'd been, Biden had seemed okay. It seemed like typical Biden, to me, and he seemed fine. I mean, yeah, he's old and he walks with a stiff back and he stutters and all that kind of shit. But it didn't bother me. But when I saw him at the debate, that's when I was like, oh fuck, this is not good. And that's what's really set off a lot of people. That's what set the whole thing in this whole thing of Joe stepping down. That was because of the debate. Once everyone saw that, it was like, holy! Everyone was probably like me, going, "Oh shit!" So I never really thought of it until then about if he could even carry out a second term before either having to step down because of health reasons or he croaks or whatever. But so you're probably right. I mean, there's a good chance of that unfortunately. Hey, there's Jolie. Good to see Jolie. Hello from Appleton, Wisconsin. It's Derby Day. Oh, yeah, that's right. The roller derby. Tell your girls to go slamming or whatever. Yeah, so good to see Jolie in here. Michael Andrews, I hope someday you'll see my Blue Angels page I set up for you, Fancy. What about the rest of us? Can the rest of us watch your Blue Angel page, Michael? Is it just Fancy? I know Fancy is special, but I think we would all like to see the Blue Angel page. I think all of us. Nick Rich 56 says, then try to dare us, then maybe scare us, but we all love Kamala Harris. Nick Rich, you're really trying there. You're trying to put that together, I guess. Mackenzie Carter Cameron, Fancy, talking about the puppy being spoiled. Yeah, but the puppies are so cute. You gotta spoil them. You gotta talk like little puppy talk to them. Who's a cute puppy? You're a cute puppy. James Williams says maybe the Electoral College is on life support. Why do 6 states decide who will be president? I know. I mean, it's going to come to a point because everyone seems to hate the Electoral College, or at least Democrats do. The Republicans love it because that's really the only way they can get a Republican president elected. But I mean, we got to get rid of it. But it's really really tough. You know, it's an act of Congress. It takes an act of Congress, right, to amend the Constitution. And but someday it will. But I don't know when. I mean, we got to get the numbers right. We got to get the numbers in Congress, get the numbers, and we have to get the state numbers. And right now, as far as red states or as far as like Republican governors are concerned, I think they have more than we do. A slight edge there. So, again, it all comes down to numbers. Voting blue, like I say, for all the things that are dear to you, vote blue. Mackenzie Carter Cameron says, yeah, the irony that he was running against Obama was lost on many Republicans. I've skipped down, so I kind of missed what you were talking about. West says, Jimmy Dore is fun, no worse than this. If you think Jimmy Dore is fun, then I suppose walking on glass and the sound of fingernails down a chalkboard are your idea of a great Saturday afternoon, I guess, West Webb. I don't know. And Nick Rich says your sense of humor is weird, Wes. I think I kind of agree with Nick Rich on that one. I think I agree. I've sort of skipped down, and so some of your threads I'm kind of out of the loop on now. Apparently, Delta Dawn is packing, going somewhere. Oliver Brownlow, I gotta hand it to you. You're still in the chat, and for that, is it a bad form if I salute? I salute you. I give you a lot of credit for hanging in there. Unlike others who have run away, so I'll give you that much for not, getting all butthurt and leaving. Let's see. Steven Sayers, how about paid family leave? How about it? That's becoming all the rage now, isn't it? And see, then that's things are like this incrementalism. Now, the incrementalism can be slow as fuck, but it was Bill Clinton that first got family leave with no pay, but just getting family medical leave, passed was a big deal back in the 90s. And now here we are, 30 years later, and we're seeing more and more things getting passed regarding paid family leave, medical leave. So we're trending in the right direction. It just takes us a long time sometimes. Wes says, I understand electoral college, I understand gerrymandering, I also understand graft and corruption. I don't like any of those things, but they still exist on both sides. So what's your fucking point? What's your fucking point? They do exist on both sides, but there's a big differences. When it happens on the Republican side, and it happens probably like way more than it does on the Democratic side, But when it happens on the Republican side, they seem to tend to cover up. They tend to, I don't know, have excuses for the people. They don't try to kick the people out of their party or whatever. They don't want to prosecute them. They want to sweep it under the rug and let it go away. Democrats, on the other hand, on the very few times that it happens, they're like, fuck you, get the fuck out, lock that guy up or prosecute that guy, that person, you know, and we're all about exposing him. So that's the difference. And if you can't see that, Wes Webb, then you're a blind fuck. Nick Rich, keep poking the bear, Oliver. No, look, I appreciate Oliver's opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you can voice it here, and so no problem. Wes Webb, I love Jimmy Dore. He's so sincere, but he's not sincere. I suppose you're being, that's got to be sarcasm, right? But he will say whatever the highest bidder tells him to say. Oh, that's nothing says sincerity by being bought off. Yeah. That, talk about snark, right? Steve Sayre says, how about more health clinics than gun stores? That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Nice. Wes Webb makes you think he believes what he says. Yeah, but he doesn't, because he's full of shit. Jimmy Dore is full of shit. Wes Webb loves Seattle. Okay, good for you. Nick Rich, you just claimed Dore is a hack, and you like that. Yeah, I think, Wes is just, being provocative, I guess. Mackenzie Carter Cameron says, I don't get Wes Webb, not a great communicator, or you can't read the room. Wes just tries to stir things up a little bit. Midas Kevin says, Fancy, I can skate on the carpet, but I went out and tried once. I almost ended on my ass. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah, like when you're at a rink, roller rink, and you're on the carpet. Yeah, it's a lot easier to skate. But when you're out on the rink, it's a lot more slippery. Jolie says, I've been to some beautiful places in Wisconsin. Zed Appleton isn't one of them. You can skip it. I mean, Appleton is one of them. Zola's in. Okay. Huh, Appleton's not one of them, huh? Stephen Sayers, how about some protection from our children being murdered? That'd be nice. Stephen Sayers, that'd be really nice. Wes Webb, laughing out loud. Oliver Blano, snarky is fun in small doses, just like Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is not even fun. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Dore is repulsive. Just like Greg Gutfeld is repulsive. They're not funny. They think they're funny. They're not funny. They just say stupid shit. They just say really stupid shit. Did someone say stupid shit? You want some stupid shit? I'll give you some stupid shit. Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is like a goon. He's a money-grubbing goon. I have never seen or heard one funny thing ever come out of that motherfucker's pie hole. Jimmy Dore is the most untalented fucking faux aggressive piece of shit I've ever seen. Sellout. Talk about sellout. Jimmy Dore is a sellout. There's no two ways about it. Let's put it that way. I won't be fooled again. Jimmy Dore Dore could lick my little niblet cookies. You know what I mean? Fuck Jimmy Dore. You know what rhymes with door? Whore. And no disrespect to the whores out there, but it did rhyme. Yeah, Jimmy Dore is awful. Just a no talent waste of breath. The fuck Jimmy Dore and the horse he rode in on. Poor horse, anyhow. Yeah, no, fuck Jimmy Dore. He's disgusting. He's just a disgusting Nimrod. Full aggressive. That means he's a fake, phony, aggressive, progressive, whatever. You know what I mean? He's fake. He's phony. He's full of shit. Right? Totally full of shit. I guess that's all I got to say about Jimmy Dore. All right, so I got to admit, I'm not a big Jimmy Dore fan myself. You know, really. I've just found him to be just basically he just repeats the right-wing lies and tries to wrap it in some sort of progressive package. Don't be fooled, people. Don't let him fool you. Jimmy Dore's not on our side. He may try to come off as some sort of leftist progressive, but he's not. He's a faux, the faux aggressive, like Cookie was saying. He's a fake and phony, and he's not even funny. He's not funny like me. Look at me. I got my purple beard on. That's how funny I am. Want to talk about funny? Put on a purple beard, and you'll be funny as fuck. As far as I'm concerned. But anyhow, I just want to come in for a little bit. I think things were getting a little tense. You know, trying to bring the tension level down a little bit. You know. And I think it's funny how Trucker John and I, we wear the same shirt. And we didn't even plan it. I just showed up. And I'm like, hey, nice shirt. And then Trucker John, you know, he looks down and he's like, oh, yeah. Wow. Who knew? We didn't even plan it. We just wore the same shirt. Crazy? Is that crazy or what? But anyhow. So I'm feeling okay. I hope you guys are feeling all right. I really do. I hope you guys are feeling good. We should be feeling good. We just came off a great DNC, not DMC. Did I say DMC? A great DeLorean Motor Company convention. No. And I'm feeling good from it. I'm still feeling good from that. I hope we're all feeling good for it. Let's ride it all the way into November. Ride that good feeling, that good wave of feelings, all the way to Rovember, as we like to say, as we like to call it. All right, so don't get down. Don't get upset. As one of my favorite presidents says, don't boo, vote. Remember the dance he like pointed? Did you guys see that part? Because somebody was booing, and he just did his thing, and he like pointed. And he goes, don't boo, vote. I love that part. Gets me every time. Every single time. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna go change shirts. I feel uncomfortable wearing the same shirt as Trucker John now. All of a sudden, I have a complex about it, so I'm gonna go change shirts. But all right, back to you, Trucker John. All right, so those guys chimed in. They chimed in. Who knew? Sometimes they just pop in. You never know. You know. You never know when they're going to pop in. Now, Diana Nelson says, I do have a question. How can anyone in good conscience vote for a felon? To me, it says more about the voter than the felon. What do you think? Well, here's what I think. Now, of course, there are those that are going to vote for Trump, and they totally believe the charges. They believe everything that, but they just are so against, or they hate the Democratic Party so much that dislike or disagreements or whatever you want to call it with the Democratic Party is so great that it doesn't overcome the fact that Trump is a convicted felon and has been adjudicated as a sexual assaulter and has many more charges to come, both criminally and I think civilly, right? So they would still rather have that person as long as their party wins, because to them the Democratic Party is evil. It is, to them, it is the end of this country as they know it. That's how they feel. So if you feel that way, I can understand. I guess I can understand that, because that's kind of how I feel in a way, as far as me voting for Democrats over Republicans. Although I haven't ever had to make that decision, that thought process of, should I vote for this convicted felon? Let's say, like if it was a Democrat, I haven't had to make that choice. So we haven't had any convicted felons running for president or running for any office that I know of on the Democratic side, especially for president. And but if we did, let's say it was reversed, but not. See, it's so hard to do that because Trump is so vile and despicable and so egregious in his the acts that he's committed that it's hard to make any type of comparison or try to even critically think about it, and try to put the shoe on the other foot type of thing. It's really hard to do because it's hard to even imagine that we would have a candidate so bad and so corrupt, that we would have to make that choice. But we are seeing, and the good news is we are seeing a lot of Republicans, that we saw it in the DNC, making speeches. And we've seen it in news reports of Republicans not only not voting for Trump, but have said they're going to vote for Harris in unprecedented numbers, and in either elected or formerly elected Republican office holders coming out and saying they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. That's kind of unparalleled, unprecedented. So yeah, there are still people that are voting for Trump. There's no doubt, and this will probably be a close election. It seems like they're always close, at least in terms of electorally. I think in the popular vote, I think Kamala Harris is going to smoke them. I mean, if Joe Biden beat him by 8 million votes in 2020, I see no reason why Kamala Harris. I mean, I can almost think she could double that. So, but it is a good question, because why would you vote for this convicted felon? And then also the other. Okay, so there's the ones that say, okay, I got to vote for him because I don't want Democrats. And then there's going to be people also who say, well, those are all trumped up charges. Those were kangaroo courts. The judge, his daughter donated to the Democratic thing, and it turned out to be like, what was it, $50 or $20 or something to act blue, when she was, and she's like a young person or whatever, and it wasn't. But they make it sound like they're just doing like huge campaign contributions to Democrats, like for millions of dollars or something. But they'll say that. They'll say it's a kangaroo court. It's and it's all like the liberal media is all biased and all that kind of stuff. So they'll say that too, you know. Paul Sharkey Mannion's here. Hey, Paul Sharkey Mannion, good to see you. Thanks for joining us over here in the driver's lounge. Paul Sharkey Mannion says, "Howdy, TJ. The truckers. Been a great week for the Democrats. Just because they believe their own lies doesn't make it right. Rock on November." I guess we say just because they believe their own lies don't make it right. I guess you're talking about the Republicans, hopefully. But yeah, it was a great DNC. Like I said, I've watched these DNC things before. I've never watched the whole thing. Like I pretty much watched not the whole thing, but you know, from a certain point, like usually my time around 6 in the evening, they start getting some better speakers in. And once I started watching, I could not stop until the end. You know, so for like what 4 or 5 hours. Well, it'd be 6 o'clock my time. I think they were usually done by about 9. So I guess it was only like 3 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours. You know, I would watch, and I couldn't turn away from it. I couldn't leave. I couldn't go to work. I was like, no, I got to watch this. You know, I got to finish it out. Even though I could have watched it on replay anytime, but it was just something about watching it live and everything that makes it more exciting, I think. But it was a great DNC. But you know, I couldn't turn away from it. It was so just exciting and like people say electric a lot. It's like this electric, and it was coming through the TV screen, and it was coming through the electricity in the air, and it was really fantastic to watch. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's invigorating. It kept the whole Harris Walls campaign. It's just keeping the train going, you know. Terrence Bunn says used aliases, assumed identities when I supported Cap Hill clients and district offices for IT computer related issues. Okay. Sounds sneaky. Wes Webb apparently going to just stand up for Jimmy Dore, so whatever. But Jolie says Jimmy Dore is not funny at all, and what's worse, he thinks he's funny. He's so cringe to watch. I get secondhand embarrassment for him. Yeah, he's cringy. Very cringy. Dick Rich seems to think that the entire right wing is nothing but assholes. Maybe some elbows in there too. Delta Don, I hate Gutfield. Hate him. Yeah, talk about untalented bores. You know? Terrence Bunn says Jimmy Dore puts me to sleep, so maybe a good cure for insomnia? You know? Wes Webb, should we talk about Build Back Better? Hey, Build Back Better. They broke it down and got it passed, a lot of it passed piece by piece. And now we're having a big Biden boom economy. I mean, did you want to somehow put it down and act like it's some sort of a failure when it's absolutely not? What do you think the big Biden boom is all about? Wes Webb, you're just ridiculous. Are you comparing Project 2025 to Build Back Better? West Webb, if you get 20% of federal workers in rural areas, you cut a full-time job to part-time, expecting the same amount of work done. Whatever. Hey, Mike H is back. Have you been lurking the whole time, or did you go and come back? Because I know you were like the very first in line. Happy Freedom Day. Happy Freedom Day to you too, I guess. Steve Sayre says, as a human, when are people gonna stop bickering and be kind to one another? That's a good question. Maybe I should stop my bickering and be more kind. You know? Robin M, you see you peeps need to water the garden. Enjoy sunshine. Peace out. Hey, thanks, Robin M, for coming by. I appreciate you. Always good to see you in the chat. Hope you come back around. Wes is complaining about folks at the Social Security office for some reason. Diana Nelson says, West Webb, they are not getting rid of the positions. They are getting rid of the people. Don't agree with Trump to replace them with loyalists so they can undo the federal government. Yeah, they just want to replace nonpartisans with loyalists. Gino Maynard says, Jink hired Dave Rubin and Jimmy Dord, two turncoats, great judgment, Chink, or Jink. I've heard him pronounce it like a J, Jink. It sounds like that to me. When Jink Uger, whatever, pronounces his own name, it sounds like a J to me. So if I'm saying it wrong, blame it on Jink. Jink. Devin Nelson, okay, we're talking about cuts, personnel cuts. According to the summaries I've read, Jaw says, I have a friend who tries so hard to dislike Democrats. It's kind of funny and sad. Stephen Sayers, the glaciers are melting. The glaciers are melting. Don't worry, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, we've got big issues, big climate change issues. And so you can belong to one party, the Republican Party, that denies everything, and where we can just continue to heat the planet up and deal with all of the repercussions of that. Or you can belong to another party, the Democratic Party, which will try to get us off of our dependence of fossil fuels and try to get us over to more cleaner, green energy to try to halt the global warming. I would rather be in that party that does that. Just saying. Just saying. You know? Fancy says Hulk Hogan wants to body slam Kamala. And that just shows what an asshole he is. West Webb says, there will be stuff between now and November from both sides, Hunter's laptop and pussy grabbing, hard to know what to believe. And those two examples you gave are both from the right wing. So Terrence Bunce says, why anyone would vote for Donald Harkonnen Trump? I don't know what Harkonnen means, but Trump, birds of the same feather flock together. I just don't know. Well, like I said, I've always said this. There's huge propaganda machines in place. It's a huge bubble that they live in, and that sways their decision. That forms their decisions for a lot of these Republican voters. Delta Don says Hogan's a racist. That's why Trump likes him so much. Oh, talk about birds of a feather flocking together. That's for sure. And Wes Webb, I already know who I'm going to vote for even before I watch the DNC. But I still was compelled to watch these speeches because I thought they were just amazing, and they were really just uplifting and so positive. Whereas, and I didn't watch as much as the RNC. In fact, I only watched bits and pieces of it. But what I did watch in the DNC was boring. It was the opposite of uplifting. It was really like a big nothing burger. It was a stark contrast, that's for sure. West Webb, enough of Hunter's laptop was real, like the Russian dossier and Trump probably came from the same source. If Hunter's laptop was real, they sure haven't presented anything real. Kim Shee says, fact, your IQ goes up 10 points when you mute Wes. I think you're right, Kim Shee. I think I'm about to agree with you on that one. I don't know what. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Kim Shee, I think you're right. I think you're right. West Webb, they are closing schools in Illinois for lack of staff. Why can't they hire more staff? West Webb, they can't come up with 25% more classrooms and teachers when they already lack 10%. Maybe you just live in a shitty state, Wes, where no one wants to live. I don't know. Maybe it's a beautiful state. I've driven through there. I spent a little time there as a truck driver, mainly at truck stops. So you definitely know more about it than I do, but maybe it's a shitty state. And I guess you're going to blame Democrats for it being a shitty state because they don't spend enough time on the rural people or whatever. Mike H says, I fell asleep for a minute, but I'm up now. All right. Fancy says, I appreciate you and the way you are, TJ. Never change. All right. Well, thank you, Fancy, for that. West Webb, I believe in free public education to its full extent. The way needs to be prepared first. We just can't snap our fingers and make it so. I don't know who is suggesting that. I don't know who's about suggesting snapping the fingers. Fancy says college should be free too. Yeah, at least like state colleges should be free. Private universities can do whatever they want, but like a state college should be free or extremely low cost, I think. very, should be more affordable. And actually, they are. A lot of the state colleges are pretty affordable. So I don't know. I don't think like Yale should be free if they, whatever. That's just me, though. And you don't have to go to Yale. Like, I guess I might be going against a lot of the Democratic thought on this, but a lot of people, they want to go to some prestigious school and just so they can say I graduated from fill in the blank, whatever they think is the most prestigious school. When you can get the same education at a state college, and at the end of the day, it really, I mean, for your your BS degree or your BA degree, your undergraduate degree, it really doesn't matter. I don't think if you go to a state college and maybe tuitions are much more affordable and realistic, or whether you go to some highfalutin, big, fancy private university that costs 30 or 40 grand or 50 grand a semester or whatever they're charging these days. And then a student insists on going to that, and then they complain about the cost of it. I think when they could have went to a state college for probably a fraction of the cost, I guess. I don't know. I'm probably talking out my ass a little bit. I really haven't looked up the figures lately, but I do think you can get a quality education probably at a state college, probably just as good as any other college. And I think the costs are a lot cheaper, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys can fill me in on that. Let's see. Wes is drinking tea and vaping. THCBD. I could easily take a nap. Steve Sears' door is so cringe. I can't even take 5 minutes with the guy. In all honesty, full disclosure, really the only time I see Jimmy Dore is when Hal Sparks plays clips of him. So I don't watch his show. I do remember when he was way back in the day, probably back in 2015, 2016, when he was on TYT a lot, and they would do these kind of panels with was like with Jink and Anna and Ben, and then Jimmy would be there, Jimmy Dore, and he would think, and he would be he was the snarky stand-up guy, and he thought he was funny as fuck back then, and I didn't think he was funny then either. Paul Sharky Banyan says, just a quick visit today, my lovers. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Hey, Paul, thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate you from across the pond. Thanks for stepping in for a bit. Mike H says, I'm worried about the batteries when they are done. The pollution can't be good. Just saying they have no. So are we talking now? I may have missed something previous here in the chat. Are you talking about electric vehicles? Yeah, it's okay to be worried about that, but I think you should also be worried about fossil fuels and all the harm we're doing to the ozone layer and all the harm we're doing with warming the planet. That should be just as much of a concern. As far as these batteries are concerned, I'm sure that there'll be ways of recycling. There'll be ways of handling that we can deal with. It is a concern, that's for sure. But I think it's less of a concern of continuing to spew contaminants into the atmosphere at the rate that we're doing it and creating this thermal blanket around our planet. That's what's heating the planet up. I mean, I live here in Las Vegas. And yeah, we live in the desert, and I've lived in the Mojave Desert my entire life. So I'm used to heat, and I know it gets hot here in the summer and all that kind of stuff. But we just had some record-breaking summer here in Nevada, hitting temperatures that we've never hit before, and hitting triple-digit temperatures in consecutive days that we've never had before, and hitting nighttime lows being at the highest levels for the most consecutive days that we've never had before. So we're seeing changes here in the desert where it's always hot in the summertime, but it's even hotter than usual and setting records. So we're definitely heating the planet up. And we're causing all kinds of, weird weather things coming out of that. So battery storage or, used batteries and all that kind of stuff, that's a concern, but I think it's something that we can deal with. I think it is something that can be dealt with a lot easier than trying to deal with global warming, which is going to affect us on a global level. But yeah, use battery things, that's an issue, but I do think it's doable. It's something we can figure out. Kimchi says Wes is a pugilistic, cantankerous old racist fool. In other words, a typical rebuke. Wes Webb trying to stay under 200 pounds right now, on the cusp at the moment. If I am dry and naked. All right, don't go over 200, Wes. No French fries, no sodas. Reduce your carbs. All right, guys. So I know we're way over 2 hours now, right? My gosh, 2.5 hours of me just blabbing. I know I probably lost at least 2 subscribers. One was quite loyal, and I probably lost him for life. Another one I probably lost. I don't know. At this rate, we're going to be back down to 2,000 subscribers before you know it. All of the subscribers I gained with my Harris Walls rally, where I got over probably 1,300 or 1,400 subscribers from that video that went viral, 292,000 views. I'm probably going to lose all those people at this rate with my grumpiness and grouchiness. But I'm gonna say it's me. This is me. I gotta be me. I got to be me. Anyhow, Delta Don says Fox News is responsible for much of the propaganda in the U.S. I agree there. I hear their shit every day because of my parents. Fox blatantly lies. It's maddening. They should have penalties for flat out lying. I believe that too, although they'll say First Amendment, but I think that there are limits to First Amendment, like being fraudulent. David Windler Junior College has to be free. It's gotta be free. It's gotta be free. Oh, so free. Wouldn't you like it to be free? Anyhow, Kimchi says like associates would be free because you can get trade certificate next to free. And when I was talking about state college, I wasn't talking about junior colleges. I was talking about 4-year school. Mike H. Yes, electric vehicles. Like I said, I think we can. I think we can deal with those issues of the byproducts of those cars and how we store and handle the waste from that. I think we can handle that, and we'll come up with ways of being able to handle that. And that shouldn't stop us from switching over to green renewables, because eventually the battery technology is going to be so much better, or whatever propulsion system, we might have something different besides electric. But that, I mean, I don't know, it might be hydrogen fuel cells or whatever. I don't know, but we're gonna, EV electric might just be a bridge to whatever else we end up. But we have to get off of these fossil fuels, I believe, because we're just heating up too fast and too much. Where we're going to have massive, droughts and famines and all that kind of stuff, Mike H., I'd buy an electric Camaro if they made one. They probably will at some point. I saw a video Now, it's hard to know what's really accurate or whatever, but it was from a channel that I sort of trust. I forget which one it was now, though, but it might have been God, I can't remember his name now. Ryan something. He does a lot of Tesla stuff, but whoever it was, but they did show some other manufacturers, like Dodge, and they coming, with some of their planned EVs, and they're making, well, according to this video, a Dodge Charger EV that, right now it's all just sort of speculative, but he showed a picture of it, and I don't know if that I forget now if that was actually from the manufacturer or if that was just a rendering from like a fan or something, but it looked fucking awesome. It looked awesome. It was a Dodge Charger EV. So if they did that, if they're going to make a Dodge Charger, I could see a Camaro, and if they make it look like a Camaro, that's the thing I don't like about the Mach E and putting the Mustang badge on it for Mustang, because it doesn't look like a Mustang. I wish they would have just called it, an Explorer or something. But anyhow. But eventually they might make a Camaro EV. Kimchi, wow, I missed the excitement. West Webb says, "Me too, Mike H. I'm going to get Mustang EV after they work the kinks out." I do like that though, the Mustang EV, even though it doesn't look like a traditional Mustang. I wish they could have made it look more like a Mustang. Steven Sayer says state schools may offer good education, but you'll never be one of the Federal Society guys. Oh yeah, I guess you got to come from Yale or Harvard. I guess I don't know. As old as Zen says at Delta Dawn, same. When I visit my mom, she plays Fox News. I can't take the bullshit overload. Westwood Battery, it is all going to be electric in some way. The magnetic engine would be powered by some source. Kimchi Charger EV. I guess that's kind of laughing. I don't know. Mike H. I wouldn't buy anything from Dodge. I'm just saying. I know. Okay, you're a Ford guy. Or no, you're a Chevy guy. I'm just saying that it's not all going to be just, like Teslas or whatever. That there might be a muscle car EV. And like I say, Ford, they made the Mach E. I mean, it doesn't really look like a Mustang. So they kind of dropped the ball on that one. Delta Dawn Isolda, I feel your pain. I don't understand how anyone can take those clowns seriously after being sued and settling, especially. Jobama Kamalabat 2000 says, how about a Ford Motang E? The Ford Motang? Yeah, there you go. Walter McCarvin says, well, we can ship them to the moon, create a real moon base alpha with Martin Landau. Okay. Kimchi Motangs are the best. West Webb, our electricity right now is mostly made with fossil fuels, not so much in Illinois. But even that is changing. And if you listen to the broadcasts, if you're listening to Randy Rhodes, or usually it's on Randy Rhodes where they have the broadcasts, and I think they reported something about, for the first time ever, I think we're generating more electricity from green renewables now. It may have reached that tipping point. maybe I heard it wrong, or that it's not exactly right, but the green renewables in our power grid are it's not just a little thing anymore. It's getting to be more and more and more, and fossil fuels are getting less and less and less. Mike H says Ford should have named it a Taurus 500 and not a Mustang Mach-E. Yeah, but then maybe it wouldn't have generated as much. It wouldn't have gotten as many eyes on it. You know what I mean? Like if you call it a Mustang, it's going to get everyone's attention. If it's a Taurus, So I can understand from a marketing standpoint why you'd want to call it a Mustang rather than a Taurus. Delta Dawn, Detroit gave us the Motanes. West Webb, burning coal to power your electric vehicle is silly. And like I just said, that is becoming less and less. Renewable energy is becoming more and more in the power grid. And also, it's not silly. Here's what's not silly is when you drive an EV, you have zero tailpipe emissions. So maybe your electricity that you plugged into might have fossil fuel at the from the power grid, but at least you are not then driving that vehicle, that's like powered with gasoline, a fossil fuel, and then going out and also spewing out contaminants through your tailpipe. It's like a double whammy. So now, okay, so you plug in your EV. Maybe your electricity is coming from a power plant that is coal powered or whatever. But at least you're not driving around and emitting toxins and contaminants out of your tailpipe, and that's pretty huge when you multiply that car by millions of other cars, or in a region, thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands in a certain area. It's pretty huge. That's a pretty huge deal. So you always have to take that into consideration. Because I've been hearing this argument ever since the 90s. I was talking about EVs in the 90s to people when I worked at the post office, and I would get into conversations with coworkers, and there were a couple of coworkers who would say, "Yeah, but your power is coming from not just either coal, but even diesel-powered power plants that are running where they have diesel generators and where they're running power plants off of diesel fuel." And my comeback was, "Yeah, I know, but no tailpipe emissions." And that's almost half the battle right there when it comes to CO2 being released into the atmosphere. That's half the battle, getting the tailpipe eliminated. That's half the battle. Think of that. Just think of that. If all of your, say, like what I call four-wheelers, your basic passenger vehicles, your regular cars, and your small trucks, your light trucks and whatever, let's say we could snap our fingers and all of a sudden they were all electric and they had zero tailpipe emissions, that's going to knock your CO2 emissions almost in half. So don't discount that fact. We could talk about power plants and how they're powered, but eliminating tailpipe emissions is fucking huge. As far as CO2, and CO2 is the main culprit for global warming. Okay? Kimchi says, two were built that way. Mine were retrofitted in 1950s cottage. It looks kind of cool. So West Webb is getting some numbers. Coal, 16%. Nuclear, 18.6%. Renewables 21.4. Look at there. Roxanne Harfield, or Walter McCraven says, Roxanne Harfield, see you at Ojeda Live tonight. Kimchi says, looks kind of odd and above the wisteria and pergola. Hey, Dana Nelson says, our air would be so much cleaner to breathe. Tom Bias says, I thought it was silly to work on driverless cars before going electric. I have no interest in driverless cars, and I really don't. Some people do. I have no interest in that whatsoever. Mike H says, I can see where you're coming from on no tailpipe emissions, but the construction vehicles produce tailpipe emissions that they use to mine them. Yeah. We might eventually get there to converting those vehicles. But right now, we have great technology where we could, all of our passenger vehicles, all of our cars, we could switch those over to EV pretty much right now. As far as big trucks, big earth-moving equipment, that might be a little further down the road, but eventually we'll get there. We might not be able to do it all at once, but technology, we've got some pretty good technology right now with EV cars. It's not perfect, but it's getting better, and it's going to keep improving. From cars like Teslas and Mach-E's, and they've got EVs out now. We might be 4 or 5 years away from them being really, really good. Well, we're going to start seeing short charging times, and we're going to see ranges going up to 400, 500, 600 miles on a charge, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to see costs coming down. We're going to have vehicles, that are much more affordable, $25,000, $30,000 cars, brand new. All that's going to be happening in the next 4 or 5 years, I believe. And yeah, the stuff that's mining the equipment, eventually that's going to be all electric, or that's going to be at least cleaner, but maybe not right now. That might be 10 years away. But we got to start somewhere. And believe me, I believe getting all of the passenger vehicles, all of our cars, our personal vehicles, as many as possible as is going, electric and not having the tailpipe emissions, that's a big, big move. And you can always point out, yeah, but what about this and what about that? Yeah, well, eventually it will be. Eventually airplanes will be, I believe, will be electric. Now, airplanes, they emit CO2 and emissions and all that kind of stuff too. So, airplanes and helicopters, and we're going to have those running around burning fossil fuels probably for a while longer. But eventually we won't. Eventually everything will be, I believe, powered by a green renewable. But some of these things, it might be 10 years away. It might be 20 years away. Some might be 50 years away. I don't know. Like airplanes might be 50 years away. But, we've got to do what we can do when we can do it. And it might be a chunk here and a chunk here, a segment here, a segment there. But we can't give up. We can't stop. Otherwise, we're just going to burn up. And make life really unlivable for mammals, at least. Anyhow, guys, hey, thanks for being here. I apologize for some of the. I don't know if I should apologize for grumpiness or grouchiness or snarkiness. I'm not sure, or maybe all three. I know sometimes I can be a little harsh on people and mean, and I can chase people away. I apologize for that, because I want this to be a place where we can hang out and we can talk, and I don't mean to chase people away. I want us to feel safe, that we could voice our opinions, and then I'm very hypocritical if I chase somebody off. So I don't mean to be that way. I mean, it's just a character flaw. I don't know. Anyhow, guys, thanks for being here. I hope the mic was okay. It was in a different position this time. I'm going to listen to the playback and see if this new configuration works, where it's up. Like before, I had it was more down here. Now it's up here. We'll see. And maybe one day I'll have like a real mic. Not that this isn't a real mic, but you know those like professional looking mics. You know, mine's just a teeny little mic, if you know what I mean. They say size. Some people say size doesn't matter. So I'm going with that one. I'm going to go with that one. Fancy says, feel better, Trucker John. Thank you, Fancy. I've been feeling a lot better. I just have some remnants of this cold kind of hanging on. Fancy says, go Chargers. I say go Rams. But yeah, go Chargers, go Rams. Apparently, the Raiders played to a tie in a preseason game last night here in Vegas. So, Wes Webb, it's part of your charm, John. You're so funny. Dr. Don, thank you, John. Love you guys. Wes Webb has a little crackle in it. Not that bad, though. Okay. I'm glad it's not that bad. Wes Webb, I've got one of those. It is not reliable. Applet says Hawks. As in go Hawks? As in Seahawks? Steven Sayre says, true story about private jets, but the millionaire who fly them will eventually be electric or similar. Yeah, I think so. I don't know how many years, maybe 20 years, maybe 50 years, I don't know. But eventually we're going to get all of our transportation is going to be, electric or something like that. I mean, it's not going to be fossil fuel. All right, guys. So, man, I've just been babbling on almost 3 hours. Sorry for going so long. I say that all the time. And Jolie says, leaving for the game. Let's go Naptown Roller Derby. Thanks, Sean. Have a great day. Thank you, Jolie. Thanks for being here. Tell the girls I say good luck and go smash some people into the rail and get those points. Get around, get those points, and kick some ass. All that good stuff. It looks like a fun game, and I know you guys love it. So have a good time. And okay, so today's Saturday. I'm going to I'll be back Tuesday. We'll see you back Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time for another Trucker John Tuesday talk. Hopefully, I will learn some manners. And I guess I'm still feeling guilty. I chased off Seha. I feel guilty about that one because Seha is a good person and has been a supporter of the show. And I pissed him off. Maybe forever. And then there was that other person I never knew, but still probably shouldn't have been so shitty to that person. So I do feel a little guilty about that. But not real guilty. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Let's just be clear about that. But yeah, I guess that's it for now. Harris Walls 2024. Make sure you register to vote. Vote.org. Check your registration, especially if you're in a red state. Make sure they're not purging you. Make sure you get out there and vote. Let's see, what else do we need to do? What are we going to talk about? Next week, I think Hal's doing a bunch of Project 2025 stuff. I'm sure Wes Webb will be all ears about that. And let's see, what else is going on next week? I don't know, not much. Just same old, same old. But I'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. In case that's the whole thing where I pissed off Seha. In case if your notifications don't tell you, just remember, that's why, let's see, no, I got to go this way. That's why I have this up here, the schedule. So if your notification thing doesn't work, I need to move my head. There you go. If my notification thing, it doesn't pop up for you, I mean, that's why this is up the whole time, the schedule. So you don't have to go, I didn't see it in my notifications. Just note, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thursday, 3 a.m. Pacific time. Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. All right? In case your notification thing doesn't work. You know. All right, guys. I guess that's it. Alvin Stewart's been lurking. Thanks, Alvin, for lurking. Thanks for being here. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe and share button for me, if you would. We're at 3,330 something subscribers. I'd really love to get to 20 gazillion by end of day. No. But, you know, I'd love to keep the show growing and getting bigger and stronger. And maybe someday I will have the ability to play clips and hear the volume. Like someone earlier was saying to play a clip. PB was saying that, by the way. And but when I play clips, you just can't really hear the volume very good. So, and it's because I'm on an app. I'm doing this on a phone app. So maybe someday we'll be on a nice big computer and I can actually play clips and that you can hear. Would be nice. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. You guys are awesome. And thanks for putting up with me, putting up with the old grumpy, grouchy snarkiness. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I know I haven't made any videos lately. I do want to do some other videos too. So always be on the lookout. Who knows? I might do a live walk from the strip. I might do a video from the strip. Look for those, whatever. You know, just look for Old Trucker John. I'm usually doing something. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for being here. And I'm going to shut my mic off.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. All screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back. it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully. Nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about gold chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stopped a truck driving. Who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win, right here on the Trucker John kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win, right here on the Trucker John.